I'm saying, hi, Bill. It's good to see you again. Before we start, I'd like to take a moment to just check in. How has the last week been for you?
It's been a mix. Honestly, some moments were better, but the anxiety's still there, especially at night.
I hear you. Managing anxiety can take time, and those ups and downs are part of the process. Last time we talked, you had your thoughts can spiral, especially at night, and how that leaves you feeling powerless. We also talked about using a thought record to help capture some of these automatic thoughts as they come up. I'd like us to build on that today, addressing any challenges you face with the thought record and working through some techniques to handle those anxious moments more effectively. How does that sound?
That sounds good. I did use a thought record a few times, but I'm not sure I did it right.
That's perfectly okay, Bill. The thought record is something we'll refine together. And it's natural to have questions about it in the beginning. Let's make reviewing your thought record part of our agenda today. Would you like to add anything else to the agenda?
Maybe just talk about how to handle the anxiety when it hits me all at once. Nights are really still very hard.
Got it. We'll review your thought record, discuss strategies for those intense moments of anxiety, and look at ways to build on what you've already been doing to help ease your nighttime worries. All right, let's start by looking at your thought record. Could you share one or two situations where you used it and how it went?
Sure, one of the times was after work. I was thinking about a mistake I made with a part, and I couldn't stop wondering if it would mess things up. I wrote down my thought, I can't do anything right, and rated it pretty high on the anxiety scale. But after writing it down, I tried to ask myself if it was actually true. I realize I make mistakes sometimes, but it doesn't mean I can't do anything right.
That's really great work, Bill. You challenged the thought and identified that one mistake doesn't define your abilities. This is exactly what the thought record is for. Catching those thoughts, examining them, and deciding if they're entirely accurate. Did this process help to reduce your anxiety?
Yeah, it helped. I wouldn't say the worry disappeared, but it was less intense afterwards.
That's a huge step forward. Reducing the intensity, even slightly, is progress. Over time, with practice, this can have a great impact on your overall anxiety. Now, were there any challenges with using the thought record that came up?
Mostly just remembering it to do it. When I'm really anxious, it's hard to pause and pull out the record.
That's completely understandable. Anxiety can make it hard to step back. Let's brainstorm a way to make this process easier for you in those high anxiety moments. For example, what if you jot down just the main thought quickly? Even if you're not ready to fully analyze it in the moment, later when things feel calmer, you could go back and break it down more thoroughly.
I think I can try that. Just writing the thought down might help me get some distance from it.
Exactly. It's about creating the space to examine your thoughts without feeling rushed. Now, let's shift to discussing those nighttime worries that seem to hit hard when you're trying to relax.
Yeah, it's like once the day's over, all the worries flood in. I start thinking about everything I did wrong and how it might blow up in my face.
It sounds like your mind is scanning for possible mistakes or problems and amplifying them, especially at night when things are quiet. One technique that might help in these situations is called scheduled worry time. Essentially, you set a specific 10 to 15-minute blocks each day to focus on your worries. When worries pop out outside that time, like at night, you can remind yourself that you'll address them during your designated worry time the next day. How does that sound?
Hmm. I haven't tried that before, so I just tell myself to save it for later.
Exactly. If the thought is really bothering you, you can jot it down in a notebook specifically for worry time. Then, during your designated worry period, you review the list and decide if these worries need action or if they're more of a what if scenario. This technique can help you contain your worries and reduce how they invade your evenings.
I think that might actually work. I could try it after work or before dinner.
Sounds like a solid plan. It might feel strange at first, but many people find it helpful once they get into the habit. It lets your brain know that there's a set time to deal with worries, which can help keep them from popping up randomly. As you try this, feel free to make a note of how effective it is for you.
Well, I guess I can give it a shot.
Great. To wrap up, let's summarize what we've covered today. You did some strong work with the thought record, challenging the idea that a mistake doesn't define your abilities. We also discussed jotting down quick notes when anxiety is high, so you don't feel pressure to analyze right in the moment. And finally, you're going to try out scheduled worry time in the evenings to keep nighttime worries in check. Does that sound like a fair summary?
Yeah, that all sounds good. I feel like I have some better tools now.
I'm glad to hear that, Bill. So for homework, continue using your thought record, even if it's just writing down the main thought for later. Also, try setting up a scheduled worry time to see if it helps manage those evening anxieties. Next session, we'll go over how it works for you and adjust if needed. Thank you for your hard work today. I'm looking forward to seeing how these techniques help you over the next week.
Thanks. I feel like I'm making progress little by little.
Absolutely, Bill. Every step counts. I'll see you next week, and we'll keep building on this. Here's the stuff.